In your exam, you are most likely to see some sort of question about the way groups in society, sometimes minorities in society, are represented, which is why I'm doing a couple of little talks about the way women are represented in the texts we've studied. Are women a minority group? Well, there are more women in the world than men. How can they be a minority? The minority here, if you take a broad view of what minority means, has connotations of lacking some power. And I think that in the novella I'm going to talk about today, women qualify as a minority group, as a group that is marginalized. Remember what that means. Pushed to the sides, left out of the decision making, all of those things. So absolutely, if there's a question about minority groups, I believe you can totally write about it in the relation to this text, the novella Chronicle of a Death Foretold. And let's talk about the way women are represented in this text. Firstly, I believe that in this text, women are portrayed as the victims of a patriarchal society. Men have the power, women are powerless. On page 9, Santiago Nassar grabs Divina Flor and says, "The time has come for you to be tamed." Sure, her Divina Flor's mom, Victoria Guzman, steps in and says, "You won't have a drink of that water as long as I'm alive." But there's a real sense of inevitability that Santiago Nassar, a rich, powerful man, is going to be able to take Divina Flor just secretly for himself. In fact, Victoria Guzman herself was the victim of something similar with Santiago Nassar's father, Ibrahim Nassar. Ibrahim Nassar had a relationship with her that wasn't a respectful relationship. It was a secret little affair that she was probably powerless to resist. In fact, there it is on page 9, right there. She had been seduced by Ibrahim Nassar in the fullness of her adolescence. So when she was still young and vulnerable, Santiago Nassar's father had basically used her. And Divina Flor, who's Victoria Guzman's daughter, is facing the same thing. It says Divina Flor knew that she was destined for Santiago Nassar's furtive bed. Furtive means secret. Now, Santiago Nassar isn't going to marry Divina Flor. She's just going to be something on the side for him. And she seems powerless to resist. She is destined for it. It ties in with that theme of fatalism in the novel, doesn't it? There's other indications in the text that women have no choice. They have no autonomy. They can't choose their own way in this society. For example, on page 29, where it's recounting how Bayardo San Roman decided he was going to marry Angela Vicario, it's clear that Angela Vicario never has a say in the matter at this stage. On line 29, there's one version of the story of how this initially began, with Bayardo San Roman going to sleep, but before he does so, he asks about Angela Vicario and says, "When I wake up, remind me that I'm going to marry her." What arrogance. What a thing to say. Remind me that I'm going to marry her. The woman has no choice. The man can take her casually. And so in these kinds of ways, women are represented as victims of a patriarchal society. In some senses, Angela Vicario might seem to rebel against the society and seemingly succeed in her rebellion. She doesn't hide the fact that she has been with another man before her wedding night. She is somewhat defiant. She refuses to back down. But it's hard to see her as having a victory over society, because what happens then is she is sent home in disgrace. What happens is she is sent away for many, many years. She's sent away from the town. The consequence of her disrespect towards the patriarchal society are really harsh on her. Still, she might be considered a heroine, can you say that anymore? An icon, an ideal for feminists. She fought back. She refused to hide her condition in the face of a very hypocritical society where men can have as many girlfriends as they want before they get married, etc., etc. So she stood strong. So is the book celebrating Angela Vicario? Maybe. But I've got an uncomfortable feeling about this book in regard to Angela Vicario, because I think it portrays her as like a false accuser. Lots of evidence is given that Santiago Nassar is innocent. He's represented in lots of ways as not having done what Angela Vicario accuses him of. Though we know he's not necessarily a great guy, he doesn't seem, in many ways, to have been the person who slept with Angela before she got married. So in this way, the representation of Angela Vicario becomes a little bit problematic, because I think it suggests that women are sometimes false accusers. They point their finger at someone and say it was him, and some poor innocent man, well, not innocent, but innocent in this case, gets killed for it. I think the representation of woman, if we take Angela Vicario as the main female character, which she is, and see what she represents, there's at least a suggestion that she is, in her own way, the agent of really bad things happening in society, really unfair and immoral actions. So if we take Angela Vicario as representing all women, we need, in this text, we need to maybe criticize the text for creating at least the sense that she may be a false accuser, and therefore representing women as dangerously deceitful.